Before you sleep tonight, don't rush this moment. I know your mind is already thinking about rest, about closing your eyes, about escaping the noise of the day. But right now, before that happens, stay here for a moment, because something inside you is not fully at peace yet. Maybe your body is tired, but your mind is still active, still thinking, still replaying conversations, still going over things that happened today or things that might happen tomorrow. And even when everything around you becomes quiet, your thoughts don't. They become louder, clearer, stronger. And suddenly, the night doesn't feel calm. It feels heavy. That weight you didn't fully feel during the day shows up now. That stress you pushed aside comes back. That uncertainty, that pressure, that feeling of not being fully in control, it all rises. And you try to ignore it. You tell yourself, just sleep. It's nothing. Tomorrow will fix it. But your mind doesn't listen, because your mind doesn't want to be ignored. It wants to be understood. And right now, this moment is not here to fight your thoughts. It's here to calm them. Because the truth is, anxiety is not always about what's happening. It's about what you are holding inside. It's about everything you didn't process, everything you didn't release, everything you carried without realizing. And when night comes, all of it asks for attention, not to overwhelm you, but to be released. And that's what this moment is for. Not to fix everything, but to let go, to stop holding everything so tightly. Because the more you hold, the heavier it becomes. But the moment you release, something shifts. And right now, I want you to slow down. Don't rush this. Take a deep breath. Slowly feel it. Let your body relax just a little. Because your body has been holding tension all day, even if you didn't notice. Your shoulders, your chest, your breathing, everything has been slightly tight. And now we begin to release that, not by force, but by awareness. As you breathe, your body begins to respond. The tension softens, the pressure lowers, the constant alertness fades, and your mind starts to follow. The thoughts are still there, but they lose their intensity. They stop controlling you, and you start observing them. And that changes everything. Because when you observe your thoughts, you're no longer inside them. You are above them. You are aware. And awareness is the beginning of peace. Not fake peace, not temporary distraction, but real calm. The kind that comes from within. And right now, you're stepping into that. Slowly, quietly, but deeply. Because this night is not meant to be heavy. It is meant to restore you, to calm you, to reset you. And before you sleep, this is the moment where that begins. And as you stay here, something inside you is already starting to slow down. Not because everything is solved, but because you're no longer feeding the tension the same way. The thoughts are still there, but they don't feel as strong. They don't feel as urgent. And that is important, because anxiety grows when you give it energy, when you follow every thought, when you try to answer everything at once. But right now, you're doing something different. You're not chasing every thought. You're not reacting immediately. You're simply here, observing, breathing, allowing things to settle. And that creates space. Space in your mind, space in your body, space in your emotions. And in that space, something new begins to appear. Clarity, not loud, not overwhelming, but enough for you to feel it. Enough to realize that not everything needs to be solved tonight. Not everything needs an answer right now, because some things resolve themselves when your mind is calm. And most of the pressure you feel comes from trying to do everything at once. Think everything at once. Fix everything at once. But tonight, you are letting that go. You are allowing yourself to be here without solving everything. And that changes your state. Because peace does not come from having all the answers. It comes from letting go of the need to control everything. And right now, that is exactly what is happening. And as this calm continues to settle, your body begins to respond even more. Your breathing becomes slower, deeper, more natural. The tension that was sitting quietly in your shoulders begins to release. The pressure in your chest begins to soften. And without even trying, you feel lighter. Because your body and your mind are connected. When one calms, the other follows. And tonight, both are beginning to calm together. Not perfectly, not instantly, but gradually. And that is enough, because you don't need instant peace. You need real peace, the kind that builds slowly and stays. And right now, you are building it, moment by moment, breath by breath, thought by thought. And as you stay here, something becomes clear. You're not in danger. You're not in a crisis. You are safe, right now, in this moment. And most of the fear you feel is not about what is happening, but about what your mind imagines. But when you come back to the present, when you focus on your breathing, when you allow yourself to settle, those imagined fears lose their power, because they only exist when you feed them. And tonight, you are not feeding them anymore. Now, listen carefully, because this part matters. Your mind will try to go back to thinking, back to worrying, back to analyzing everything again. That is normal. That is how it has been trained. But now you are aware of it, and awareness gives you a choice. You can follow those thoughts, or you can pause again, breathe again, return to this calm. And every time you choose calm, you weaken that pattern. Every time you return to awareness, you strengthen your control. And slowly, this becomes easier. Not because your life changes instantly, but because your response changes. And your response is what controls your experience. Because two people can face the same situation, but feel completely different based on how they think about it. And right now, you are changing that. You're no longer reacting automatically. You are choosing how to respond. And that is real power. Not controlling everything outside, but controlling what happens inside. And as this continues, something deeper begins to happen. You begin to trust this calm. You begin to feel that you don't need to be in constant alert. You don't need to stay tense to stay safe. You don't need to think about everything to be prepared, because most of that is just habit. A habit of overthinking. A habit of trying to control everything. But tonight, you are letting that go. And in that release, your body finally feels safe enough to rest. Your mind finally feels safe enough to slow down. And that is when sleep begins to come naturally. Not forced, not rushed, but naturally. Because sleep is not something you fight for. It is something that happens when resistance is gone. And right now, resistance is fading. The tension is lowering. The thoughts are quieting. And your system, your mind, your body is moving into rest. And now, before you fully drift into sleep, take this moment and let it settle deeply inside you. You are safe. You are calm. You are allowed to rest. You don't need to solve everything tonight. You don't need to carry everything into tomorrow. Right now, you can let go. Say this slowly in your mind. I release my thoughts. I release my worries. I allow myself to rest. Again, I release my thoughts. I release my worries. I allow myself to rest. Let those words replace the noise. Let them become stronger than the tension. Because tonight, your mind is not your enemy. It is simply tired. And now, you're giving it what it needs. Calm, stillness, rest. And as your eyes begin to close, remember this: nothing needs to be figured out right now. Everything can wait, because this moment is for you, for your peace, for your rest. And tonight, you will not fight sleep. Sleep will come to you, gently, naturally, peacefully.